Hello everyone, this is Poetical Beings and welcome to Let's Play 999. In the last episode, we got the axe ending, and in this one, I just played on my own and went through door 5 and 6. Or 5, 8, and 6. And this is in door 6, I believe. Yeah. So this new text came up. So let's see. Speaking of experiments, Santa suddenly stopped. There was this experiment some scientists did with rats. First, they took a squarish, C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown. And my dog is distracting me. I'm so sorry. I've been playing this game for a while, just trying to find another ending now. The tank has two exits, A and B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. Exit B, however, is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it. So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose? There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, and then Ace responded. B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified. Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified. That's so cruel! I don't care for rats, but still. Which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A. I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. I can see where this is going. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment. You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet. This is very similar to other stuff we've heard before. These scientists repeated this experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation of rats, they took less time to find the correct exit. I knew it. Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. I wonder if this is true. But even that wasn't the most impressive thing. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory far from the original one with the same results. Excuse me. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial experiment. These rats were not related to the rats used in the first experiment and had never even come in contact with them, and yet they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean? Are you suggesting something like telepathy? Yep. They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium. Very smart, Ace. We already know because we've heard this. Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him. How the hell would I know? You're the one who brought it up. I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that. But I do know that story's true, and if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot of here we haven't checked out. And we gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out. Without waiting for a response, he turned around and started walking. So, this is in the furnace area. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic alone. Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask you. Santa stopped and turned around. Why did they use that tank for the experiment? Good question. Huh? Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just used a dry box, you know? If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown? We know why! Santa gave a grim bark of a laugh. Huh. You know the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge? Yeah. You ever think about that? I did in that other room. Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out or appear or rise out of something. Something else. So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration. That is why I procrastinate when I do homework. Inspiration. Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need. I think that's why I do that. I don't know. So in an emergency, your real potential emerges? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge. Interesting! Junpei suddenly felt cold. This is all new. It's so interesting. Last time we went through door 6, this did not happen. The back of his head was aching, and his stomach felt strange. Deja vu, maybe? Just because of the idea, not the actual dialogue. Alright, so I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna see what else is new. Alright, I'm back. So, Santa has new dialogue here at the stairs. It's not about the two Santas, so this is interesting. We didn't have parents. So he just revealed that he has a little sister. They bought it in an accident when we were still kids. I love this, man. It's so interesting. So I had to be like her dad. And that meant that I bought her Christmas presents every year. I don't know how older he is than her. On Christmas Eve, I'd leave the present next to her pillow. It must be at least 4 or 5 years. And the next morning, she'd come running into my room with this big smile. Aw, such a good big brother.
Look! Look! Santa left me a present!
Santa... Oh, she's still talking.
Santa got me that doll I really wanted! I'm so glad that he got the letter I wrote!
I was the one who told her to write those letters. Aw. I'd say, write down something you want and mail it to Santa. The address I gave her was somewhere in Northern Europe that doesn't exist. Sad music. Anyway, she'd write the letter and stamp it and send it out. And then a few days later, it'd show up back in our mailbox marked, Address Unknown. I'd open the letters before she figured out they'd been sent back. Once I had the letter, I'd go around to a couple stores with some money I'd saved up over the year, and buy her the stuff she'd asked for. He's a really great big brother. It took a lot of saving, but I managed to buy her presents every year. Junpei was silent. He could think of nothing to say. Aww. This is so different from the other story, you know, the two Santa thing that was so messed up. June looked down, uncomfortable. The wall next to him suddenly groaned. Either he hadn't heard the sound or didn't care. Santa kept talking. But one year, her letter was different. She didn't write a list of toys she wanted or anything like that. Instead, it said,
I don't want any presents this year. Instead, I want you to make my wish come true. My wish is that we'll be happy like this for a really, really long time.
Aw. That I couldn't make that wish come true. Some Santa I am. Santa looked sad. Junpei had never seen him look sad before. Well, you haven't known him that long, but this is very sad. He wasn't sure he liked it. Aw. Junpei decided it was probably best not to ask Santa any more questions. At least he learned some, to be tactile. But, what happened? Really, June? June glanced up at Santa as quickly as she spoke. He answered, but only with an effort. She doesn't have common sense not to press on that? She died. Oh. Yeah, I could tell. The music and everything. It's pretty clear. Yikes. I'm so sorry. She was killed. Ooh. 9 years ago. 9 years, huh? Just saying. Oh, so sad. He loved his little sister. Yeah. There was nothing Junpei could say. His heart felt like a great lump of lead. June bit her lip and looked away. Her face was pale. You asked for it. All right, let's go. Santa stood up suddenly, his downcast demeanor gone. He shoved the picture back in his pocket and headed back up the stairs, taking them 2 at a time. Ah, man. And of course, we yet again do not get to see the picture, so... Junpei and June looked at one another. There was nothing they could think of to say. Okay, I think we saw this already. Hey, what are you two doing? Let's get moving. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we know what comes after this. Open easily enough and they pass through the walls. Yeah, okay. So I'll be back again, guys. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no. I thought it was... Alright, I'll be back again. Okay, guys, I'm back. Something new happened in this storage room or cargo, whatever. Yeah, we were looking at the boxes and now something new, so interesting. Just then, Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence. Yeah, that did not happen last time. Uh-oh. June, are you okay? We know she's not. She did not respond. Junpei spun back around to face Ace. I'm sorry. I gotta go check on her. You do the box thing, all right? Huh? Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you. He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off toward June. Now remember, these are the cards with our faces on them. Are you all right? What happened? Junpei called out to her as he ran. As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
I'm sorry. I'm fine.
Really?
I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now's not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Well, then why didn't you answer him? Junpei put his palm on her forehead. Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. Jeez. She wasn't hot like she'd been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone. All right. So she really did trip then? I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know? Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up. Uh-oh. Still, to fall down like that? I think she's probably still a little messed up. Thanks for saying it so nicely, Santa. June was doing her best to busy herself brushing dust off of her dress. Why are you blushing? Her smile looked a little embarrassed, and her face was a bit flushed. I would be very embarrassed if I tripped too. But she did look a great deal better than she had. Still. All right, well, let's get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Medicine. Medicine, huh? Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for... Come on, load. For you. Easy. Ace? Where'd that come from? Why? Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company. Finally, Ace backstory time. Been wondering. Wait, what? Cradle Pharmaceutical is the name, I think. Excuse me? I know Junpei doesn't know in this timeline, but come on, Cradle Pharmaceutical. Their flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil. That name should be familiar to you guys, too. Soparil. Soparil. Looks like he's remembering. Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Santa continued. Soparil. Soparil is an anesthetic drug, or anesthetic that is gaseous, at room temperature, similar to nitrous oxide. It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. For these reasons, it found widespread acceptance with police and military forces in numerous countries. Do we have something like that? I don't think so. I haven't heard of it. It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer, and is practical, ethical, and humane. Developed 6 years prior, it was made from the extracts of several different roots. It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders. Yeah, I don't think we have something like this in the market. Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and as it did, so did the stock of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Why do you know all this? Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. As you should! How do you know this, bro? Santa's reply was blunt and simple. I heard it from the old man himself. From Ace? When? By the number 4 door at the central stairway. When we were searching the second class room. Oh. Remember how Snake 7 and you went to door 5? I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know? I'm surprised he was so forthcoming.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing. As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes. Why? That was so easy. What the hell's he doing? He turned back to June and Santa. June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? Sure. He gave them both a short nod, then turned and headed toward Ace. Why can't we all go together? What are you guys doing over there? What are you doing? Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat. What happened? Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry. I think perhaps because of fatigue. Well, he is old. I can't see very well at the moment. Why can't you see well? These pictures. Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed out in the shape of a fan. What? I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. I've never heard of that, but bio is 2 and opia is like eyes, so something about his eyes. Interesting. I don't know if that's another term for blindness. I've never heard of that. Gotta look into that. Growing old is a difficult thing. He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn. Yeah, getting old sucks. Not that I'm old yet, but... At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit. Huh. He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands. Oh, no! Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Junpei looked at him quizzically. How could simply looking at cards have tired him out? Junpei, you don't understand how it is to be old. Alright, whatever. There might be something else going on. Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. All of the pictures were quite clear and each person easily recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly so bad? I don't know. He needs glasses then? But if it wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable? That was when Junpei remembered what he'd heard from Lotus much earlier. Yes, that's right, because we went through door 8 in this timeline. So we did have this conversation with her about this condition. Prospagnosia. Why can't I speak? I know how to say it. I don't know why I can't say it right now. But yeah, so basically you can't remember people's faces. So everybody looks the same to you. So that's pretty sad. Prosopagnosia. Bleh. Okay. That's interesting though. Maybe he's got prosopagnosia? Very interesting, Junpei. Junpei took another look at Ace. That's a very smart conclusion to leap to, and very convenient that she talked about it. He sat at the base of the stairs looking depressed. It was reasonable, of course, that he'd feel that way. If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Yeah, I do feel bad. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Yeah. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best he kept Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being. Oh well. Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back toward the boxes. Which is very easy and I don't have to do it. It was time to solve the puzzle of the 9 boxes! Alright. Yes, we did this. Alright, so... Alright, he appeared inside. So I will be back with you guys soon. Okay. Junpei and June ran to the large hospital room together. So this is a new dialogue that's popped up. So let's see what's gonna happen now. Okay. Excuse me. Leave me alone, doggy.
Leave me alone! Please!
Okay. As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the corners. They are looking for Clover, by the way. She's not here.
No, she isn't.
Alright, just in case, we should go take a look in the shower room. Ooh.
The shower room?
That's where her brother is. She might have gone to see him. Ew, I don't want to go back in there. June bit her lip. She knew, as Junpei did, that there was only one thing to see in the shower room, and it wasn't pleasant. Well, we might as well check, right? Let's go. I don't want to go! There was a screwdriver stuck between the door and the frame. Junpei and June slipped through the door, moved down the hallway, and stepped into the shower room. No luck.
Yeah, I don't think she's here.
June's voice was faint, and she placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little green. No, don't be all descriptive. The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since their last visit. If Junpei had eaten a lunch, he would have had difficulty retaining it. Ooh. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure. And the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider. Wait here. June offered no resistance and nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. He stopped at the corner and turned his head. Ooh. As he'd expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body, lying in a reddish-brown pool of dry and drying blood. Great. There are many ways a man can die, but this? The skull was shattered and the head little more than a pulpy mass of brain, bone, and viscera. The left arm was hideously twisted into horrific alien shape, the right wet of the ulna shining through the remains of skin and muscle. Huh? Yes, that means he saw it now. Wait. Bright white ulna. Bones. Yes. The pieces fell into place. Thank the Lord. Junpei remembered something Clover had told him in the laboratory.
My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm.
That's true.
The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
There we go. Of course. Of course. Why hadn't he realized it earlier? Clover had told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. Mm-hmm. But the left arm of the corpse behind the divider was quite clearly a real human arm. Or at least it had been, once. That meant the corpse? Yes, you got it now. Looks like we're on our way to some interesting stuff going on. Okay, they headed back toward the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Okay, and they're running. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. Girl, we got some good news for you. You can't go loca and chop us up into bits with your axe this time. Where you at? They had reached the stairs when Seven appeared, breathless and yelling. Junpei! June! Where were you guys? Sorry if that's loud, guys. He looked pale and his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Oh no, Clover! Not again! Junpei's breath caught in his throat. Did something happen? Clearly. Excuse me. Seven drew a shaking hand across his face and gulped down a breath of air. Clover is dead. What? So she's not the killer this time, but she died? But we were gonna tell her good news! No! I found her in the first class bathroom. Oh man. Shut up, dog. Don't think I can't hear you. I just fed him. You little punk. Leave me alone. He's so... That's what happens when your dog gets old. He gets really, really needy. A little too much. Okay, sorry. All sound ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. Are those his shoes? They look weird. Oh no, maybe they're June's shoes. Oh, Clover. She has a band-aid on her knee. I'm noticing stupid stuff. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone, and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. This is weird. Who killed her? So he stood there, frozen in place. Weird positioning, too. Her skirt went up. Come on now. Clover. Clover. Why? Why had this happened? He forced his body to move. I feel bad, but at the same time, after the last episode, I can't feel too bad. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. And why are you showing the sink? No pulse, no breath. But she was still warm, and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was asleep. Easy, that is, were it not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. How did she die? What's the weapon or whatever? He traced its source to her back, a gash just beneath her shoulder blade. A knife, I bet. Dang it! Who are you walking around with a knife? All you gotta do is search everybody. Whoever has the knife is the killer. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? If it was a knife, the killer had taken it when they left. See? Seriously, it's so common sense. Everybody, come on, empty your pockets. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover's smile. Her innocent smile. At least it's not the psycho killer one like last time. Her energy. He would never see her smile again. And she doesn't know her brother's alive! He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot. Junpei lifted a limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom. This is so sad. Are you all right? It was a foolish question, and he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she'd received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom. You should get some rest. He lowered June until she was sitting against the bed. She nodded once and stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around as the slumped figures gathered there. Who was the first to find the body?
The first suspect.
No, me. Seven spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up. Why'd you come to this room? To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. Soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys, I found her, but it's bad. She's in the bathroom in the first-class cabin. Come quick. Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something, 'cause you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, you know the rest, right? Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask. Seven, there's one more thing I'm worried about. What's that? When we were finished all the puzzles in this room and got the door open, you stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock. So we could come back to this room. Oh, you think I did it? Now you're catching on. Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it? That's pretty cold, Junpei. Seven sighed and shook his head. Follow me. There were 2 doors standing next to one another. He opened the one on the right. Behind the door was a closet. Yes. Seven stepped inside. This is the one thing we didn't solve earlier. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured toward a small box. The small box was metal cube or whatever. He looked at Junpei. This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Besides, I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. Good idea. So I put that plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now? Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it. Dude, of course it's locked. Nothing happened. It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it. There was one change, however. Just underneath the safe was a pile of fine reddish-brown powder. What's that from? Rust. Junpei stared at it for a moment. Had someone opened the safe, dislodging the rust? Really? Interesting. Junpei left the closet. Seven followed him back to the bedroom. It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat, frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there. Alright. Was there some other clue, perhaps? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Anything that might lead him to whoever had stabbed Clover. He took his time and examined the room carefully. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passageway of door number 5. Behind that door was the dead body of the 9th man. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case. Finally! Quietly, he pushed open the door. The smell hit him like a blow to the face. Alright, we're gonna leave this episode right here. It's a long one, so I hope you're enjoying this. So, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye!